Hopefully technology is working. It appears that there is sound. It appears there is video. If you're watching the recording of this, if you would, please give me a thumbs up. Comment as I go along. I have lots of good questions. The point of this is to be interactive, get to know me, maybe learn something too as we go along. I am basically going to come here every Saturday at 10:30. I've blocked out time to be here with you guys, hold space, and answer kind of a coaching scenario or question. And today I picked one that seems to rise up more and more frequently. And it seems to be pretty relatable. So I thought I would bring that to you guys. And so the topic is, how do you deal with negativity on social media? As I'm here on social media, and who knows, maybe have a little bit of that in this thread too, as it may be. I do this in a platform called Ngomu. It's an amazing company. I've been with them for a few years now. And kind of do the same thing, have for probably 6 or 8 months now, bring forward a coaching topic along with some context to be able to coach around and kind of give you a peek, an insight of what it's like in the mind of a happiness coach, where my thoughts go when I'm coaching someone. And obviously this isn't an ideal coaching scenario. It's not a situation where there's 2 individuals that have like a coaching agreement and hold space for one another. And technically in a coaching scenario, I speak very little. I ask questions and allow my coachee or my client to really speak their mind and air out all their thoughts and feelings and issues. And as I hold space for them, they're able to come up with their own solutions. Obviously, I have a framework and love to nudge people along the way, allow them to find access to their answers quicker, faster. What I call mental fitness. A lot of us think about exercise or fitness as something for, our body getting in shape, but we also need that for our brain too. Our emotional or mental exercises are very, very important too. So anyways, I always start off with a quote. So here we go. Every time we avoid our emotions, it makes them louder. I'm going to read that again. Every time we avoid our emotions, it makes them louder. So if I could add to this quote, it's when we run, when we avoid, when we suppress, when we cope, when we find something externally to solve that negative emotion, we are in a way making it stronger. We're giving that emotion some attention. It's in a way training your brain and your mind that this is dangerous, that this is bad, that this is harmful. And this is, can be in the form of anxiety or anger or any negative emotion, right? And what this does is it reinforces it with each time, with each occurrence. Our brain sees evidence that this is something that we must fear. And I'm about to kind of go through a situation that kind of is exactly that. Social media is, unique. And when we allow what people say to us, whether they be in social media or in person or rumors, to have that power over us, we kind of drift to a victimhood and our world shrinks. So if you're viewing this, definitely chat with me, engage with me. As I see, there's nobody here yet. So I saw a couple of people kind of come in and leave. But definitely let me know if you're watching this, the recording. Let me know where you're tuning in from, where you live, whatever you're comfortable stating in the chat, what state you live in, what city, whatever you're comfortable with. I am in Spokane, Washington. It is December 16th. It's 30 degrees. It feels very cold. I used to live in Alaska for 30 years and I've definitely adapted to this climate. I think moving here was like, oh, it's going to be, the winters are going to be mild and everything. And I had this impression, and certainly the first couple of years were, and I think that was by luck. But I now wonder, did I move far enough south? Not quite sure. So anyways, feel free to say hi. Let me know what city, state, country you're chiming in from. I'd be very curious to see how far this reaches. But my name is Catherine Hood, if you don't know me. I am a happiness coach. I have a deep passion and purpose for helping people live their healthiest and happiest lives. I've experienced a lot of challenges in my life, and the main ingredient through a lot of my challenges were a lack of support. So that's why I'm a coach. I love coming alongside people that crave support, right? Our family and friends, they mean well, they come from well-meaning hearts, but sometimes that support is not what we need. So I love to be a part of people's lives from a neutral, non-biased standpoint and help them overcome challenges where next time they have that challenge or similar, it's just a little blip in their life. They're able to navigate it in such a powerful way. So coaches are a unique breed, I will say. I'm a part of several groups that are amazing and powerful, and definitely coaches that have years under their belt, such as me. I've got 6 years under my belt, and I would say actually even more in a different capacity. But I know that there's like this huge turning point when you cross the 3-year mark. And I always tell those that I mentor or help or support, you really got to get 300 hours under your belt. And, there's a big difference when you cross that threshold. Not only you change as a person, but your coaching changes. But ultimately, I want everyone to feel heard, feel important, feel seen, and I believe that no one should fight alone. All right, so let's break down the submitted question. So I have a podcast. I have a lot of things always going. I have a podcast, a blog, all the fun things, a beautiful website. So I am always offering to my clients and non-clients to submit a question with context, and I'll coach around it. On my podcast, obviously, I never ever mention names. My clients love it because in their coaching sessions, they like to work on the big, hairy, ugliest thing that bothers them, the thing that keeps them up at night. But in between sessions, there's smaller things that they'd like coaching on, but don't want to use up their coaching sessions. So I always offer to them to submit me questions, in the middle of the night or whatever, and you want to get it off your chest, and just submit it. A question with context, a coachable question. And then I'll do a podcast on it, and they love it because they can listen to it over and over again. So anyways, let's break down this question. Oh, and the reason why I do this too is in Ngomu, and going to do it here, is oftentimes we can't see the spinach in our own teeth, right? Or we can't see the toilet paper that's stuck to the bottom of our shoe. We really need someone else to help us to point out where your blind spots are. So even though this scenario may not resonate with you completely, I get that, even though I feel like I chose one that seems pretty common. You might find that there are some things that you can learn from this. I hope you'll stay tuned and stay and listen to the end. I'm going to try to keep these under 30 minutes. I do have blocked out an hour just in case, but just kind of depends on you guys. I don't see any chat, so I'm not 100% sure that this is actually working, but I'd love it if you would say hi or chat if you are watching this. But all right, here's a question. How do you deal with negativity on social media? Is it normal to get a fair amount of anxiety when you are roasted on social media, especially when you haven't said anything controversial or rude or inappropriate? It happens to me kind of often, and I just end up getting embarrassed, frustrated, and deleting the entire comment itself because I feel I said something wrong. I was just wondering if anyone reacts in a similar way, and how do you deal with it? Any advice for not letting it get to you? So I want to thank you for submitting that question. If you're watching this, and again, I never mentioned your name, but if you are watching this, or if you are facing this similar situation, I do want to say that I'm sorry that you're experiencing this. What I do know is it is very common. So you're not alone, you're not different, and it's very understandable how you got to this place. So always what I do when I'm coaching is I look at, I analyze words, what's being said, very deeply. And all my coaching clients know that my calls are on calls. They're on phone calls. They're not on lives. There's no video included. There's many reasons why I do that. A personal reason is I don't want to stare into the camera. I do track words, so I like to write down specific trigger words or words that pack a lot of emotion behind them, and I like to come back to those words. So I want to be able to make sure that I can hear the words that they're using, because oftentimes they're different words than I would ever use. So there's words that people use that really give you an insight on how they're feeling, right? So I don't see anybody on here right now, but if you were, I would love to know from you, what words did you hear? And they may not even be the specific words used, right? They may not be any of the words that I read out loud. Maybe it's your own words, your overall sense of what's being said here in one word or two. Maybe, you know, what your impression is of this person, how they might be feeling, right? So feeling words are really important to extract from what was said. And so when I reflected on this, some of the words that come up for me are anxiety. You know, roasted was used. Feeling shamed, maybe hate, embarrassment was used. Bullied, being made fun of. Maybe not good enough, which I think is one of the worst feelings in the world, or not worthy, again, one of the worst feelings in the world. Feeling different or broken, right? I want all my clients to never feel that way. You know, I mean, a lot of times when they first come to me, that is how they feel, is they feel broken or different, but they're not. We're all the same in some way, fashion, or form. Maybe this person doesn't feel like they fit in. Maybe they even stated, I feel like I've done something wrong. Maybe they feel, yeah, I mean, that just is feeling like an outsider. And again, there's a reason why I point this out. It's awareness. And so in a coaching session, I'll reflect back what I think I hear if it's not clear. Sounds like to me you feel unworthy, you feel broken, maybe you feel bullied. And they may agree and they may disagree, and either way they go is perfect. Because what ends up happening is they usually articulate further how they feel, what their experience is. See, coaching really is a big part of the first portion of coaching is understanding their reality, because we all hold a different reality. We all have a different experience. We're all experiencing life at a different level. But I know if we can't see what we can resolve, we can't change. So awareness is key. It's important for me to point out what is creating their reality. Because we feel our thinking. So if I clarify their feelings, I understand a lot more about what they're thinking, because they may not know what they're thinking. A lot of us are navigating through life on autopilot and don't hear our thoughts. And so that's something I work very closely with my clients to understand what's creating this pattern, what's keeping you stuck. And then I help them train their brain and pay attention to what it is that they want more of in their life, discovering more of what they want in their life. It's training their brain and their mind to work for them than against them. Okay. So, always, it's very imperative for me to ensure that my clients know where their feelings are coming from. All of them. Every single feeling, every type of feeling that you have, where does it come from? Except for the ones that might be involving bodily harm, right? But, you know, just your feelings. On an average day on social media for this person, where do your feelings come from? The good, the bad, the ugly, the right, the wrong, the black, the white, all of it, the high, the low. Where do all your feelings come from? So your feelings come from your thoughts. You know, it's super easy to be blinded and confused and believe that your thoughts come from external things, people, places, things, situations, and circumstances. It's very easy to believe that. I used to believe that for a very long time, and sometimes get a little sideways and believe that too. Last week I had a day of like, wow, yeah, where is this coming from? But I quickly understand, because my mental fitness is so strong and dynamic and I've worked so hard on it. It was just a day of, wow, what does this mean? What's going on here? Right? And so I really leaned in on the fact that I have great mental strength. I was able to bounce out of that within a day. Okay. So what if your feelings didn't come from a down vote, right? Or a thumbs down, or whatever the social media platform is. I mean, they're all different, right? What if the feeling doesn't come from a comment or what someone says or how they react to something you post? What if you could see that and understand that? Then what? What if no feeling comes from anything outside of you? What if you saw this? What if you understand this and feel it in your bones, in your marrow? What if you find proof that that's true? How would that change your life completely? How would your life change if once you thought everything, right? Maybe at this juncture you believe that everything external means something. If you think that everything that's said is some sort of personal attack, that everybody is mean, that people are terrible, people are awful, people are so mean to me. What if you believe that? You could certainly find proof of it, right? Everywhere. If downvotes can inject feelings or comments, right? If downvotes, comments, negativity can inject feelings into a human being, well, a teddy bear would be worth billions of dollars. A teddy bear does not inject feelings of love, safety, and security into a human being. How would life be if you had a story and a belief that everything meant something to you, your ego? What if you thought everything was personal, that everything was an attack? When we believe our feelings come outside of us, we really suffer as human beings. We suffer mentally, emotionally, and, well, physically, right? You're going to do less. Believing that has a tremendous impact on your quality of life, your well-being, your purpose, your happiness. Does someone in traffic tailgating you have the power to inject feelings of road rage and anger into you? Does a movie have the power to inject feelings of fear, sadness, or happiness into you? Does someone complimenting you on your outfit, or maybe insulting you on your outfit, have the power to inject feelings of happiness, sadness, appreciation, resentment into you? Does driving on ice and snow for the first time in really scary road conditions have the power to inject feelings of worry, fear, and anxiety into you? No. Unless you believe they do. Unless you give your power away. So where do all your feelings come from? Every single one. They don't come externally. They come from your thinking. We first think, then we feel, and then we act or don't act. We respond to that stimuli. And sometimes when we're on social media, I think we set ourselves up for some sort of expectation when we post. Sometimes. Not saying that this person does, or if you're watching this, I'm not saying you do, but usually if we expect something to work out a certain way, especially if we're wanting it to fill an unmet need, things don't work out, right? Then there's some sort of resentment or disappointment that builds. That can arise quite easily when you have expectations. You know, and I work with a lot of people and trying to really have an intrinsic goal versus some sort of expectation, right? An intrinsic goal would be wanting something that's going to give them a good feeling no matter what happens, no matter the outcome, right? It sets you up for great success in that way. So to the person that submitted this request, likely your post, whatever it was in this situation, probably well-meaning, it probably came from your heart and your soul, but your expectations weren't received. Expectations oftentimes don't benefit us. It kind of sets us up for being bummed out and disappointed and frustrated. So the things that we do with no expectation, if they fall flat, it's no big deal. You pivot, you try again. We funny little human beings tend to only recall the posts that don't work out. And that really ends up overshadowing our next move, or maybe we stop short of success, right? The internet, especially social media, is a wild, wild west with individuals that may not be even sober. And maybe they're having a bad day and projecting a terrible mood out on you, and they might be in an awful mood and really misunderstand your message, may not even read it correctly, may not understand it, it may not land. It just happens to show up on their screen at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe they're deeply suffering themselves and, taking it out on you and others. So what if nothing external had power over you? Nothing. Can you even name something that injects feelings into you from an external source? What if your mental, emotional experience didn't have to be at the mercy of other people? Wouldn't that be freeing? Wouldn't that free you up for more energy towards those things that you deeply enjoy? Wouldn't that free up your days, weeks, and months to focus in on the things that provide purpose and meaning in your life? You'd understand yourself so much better and realize that you're not your thoughts, because you're not. You might believe that now, but if you work with me, I'll show you a whole new way. And you'll let go of those external things that really have no control over you. So when you feel a feeling that's negative, it's just a signal. That's all it is. The signal is trying to protect you in some way. It's served you to some extent in the past. It's just a habit. It's a thought habit. There's some sort of story or context somewhere, sometime in your life, you may or may not remember it, that is indicating something most likely deeper than what you're fully aware of, and that's okay. It may be some sort of embarrassment or feeling like you did something wrong or not feeling good enough or all of these different things that are horrible feelings. I get it. I validate you. But what ends up happening is the anxiety will grow, or whatever you want to call that negative feeling. It gets stronger each time you find proof. You end up validating that story that you've created in your mind, that made up story, that made up belief, and then your world shrinks, just like you deleting that comment. So next time you think about posting in this situation, your mind, your brain is going to alert you, danger, danger, danger. And it's just trying to protect you, that's all. But your thoughts aren't real. It's just energy simply produced by your brain trying to keep you safe. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. So I kept it under 30 minutes as I promised. And as I asked, give me a thumbs up, if you will. It's so kind of funny that I'm doing that because like this whole thing is about social media. And so if you give me a thumbs down, which I don't know if you can even do on Facebook now that I think about it. But anyways, give me some thumbs up. Share this with someone that maybe needs to hear this message. But I'm here to help and support you in any way, shape, or form that you see I could help you or others. So, all right, guys, I will see you next week. Thanks.